Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well on this beautiful Monday again. Welcome back to another live Miniature Monday. We are painting in place here, and, well, we have been having the polls live on Instagram to figure out what color we are going to paint Esmeralda's roof. Now, before I reveal and announce what that's going to be, I just want to let you all know that while the cameras were off, I did a little bit of touch-up work onto the cart. Actually, let's go ahead and just transfer this over and there we go. So let me set this up. There we go. So yeah, did a little bit of touch-up work to the cart here. We have made sure we cleaned up all of those dark spots with the metal, as well as just cleaned up a bunch of the wood that had just lost a little bit of its luster. So it is looking much better now. I'll go ahead and get this set up. Perfect. Where is James Truman? Well, James Truman, our wonderful resident what do we call him? Our resident Brit here. No, James Truman is a great member of the Adventurers Pack and has been hosting a Bestiary with Emmy. Unfortunately, during this time right now, James is in shelter in place at his home here in the Los Angeles area. So here at the Adventurers Pack Tavern, I am lucky enough to be quarantined here myself, along with Miss Emmy, who is another host of the Bestiary. So the two of us are able to get videos done and posted here. But at the moment, the rest of the Adventurers Pack is currently working remotely. We're currently working on more ways of getting videos posted and more content released, but at the moment we have figured out how to keep the Bestiary going. So yeah, hope that answers your question there. So yeah, we had a good amount of voting done, and it was honestly a really close call. We had our options of what was it, red, green, blue, and an other color that you all could choose. And it was a very tight race between very tight race. Sorry, I'm losing my mind and also watching all the chat. Let's see here. Did James live in England? Yes, James did for a very long time live over in England, but currently he is over here in Kent. I would actually need to double check with him on where exactly he lived. I know he's told me, but at the moment it's not coming to my mind, and I don't want to spread any misinformation there. He may have lived in Kent. Harold, is that someone that do you happen to know James, and do we need to say hi? Also, hey there, RJ, great to see you. My gosh, we have so many people coming in. Benjamin, as always, lovely to see you. Harold, yes, James was a teacher at school. I believe he taught philosophy. At least I know he is. He has his major in philosophy. So yeah. Anyway, so tight race between red and green, and at the end of it, there, red won out by a single vote. So looks like the roof for our cart is going to be red, or at least the roof for Esmeralda's cart is going to be red. I've pulled out a couple of options here. We had these brighter, just flat red, this heraldic red, which I was liking, but I'm thinking I'm going to start with this burnt red here, because I think that this is a nice muted color that is going to allow there to be... Oh, Brad, great to see you. Let us know how you're feeling. I know a bunch of us here at the Adventurers Pack are, thinking about you and wishing you all the best. So yeah, I think we're going to go with this burnt red here, because that's going to give us some muted colors to add into this really toned down feel of this cart, but also give us plenty of space to brighten up. Hey, Michael, great to see you as well. Hello from Colorado. Yes, I just saw pictures that it is snowing there right now. What the heck is going on? Isn't that supposed to be? Well, I suppose Colorado has a bunch of just crazy weather. You never know when it's going to happen. I remember once, at one point in Colorado, I was out there in high school and I was on the ski team, and we did some ski training in the mountains in the summer. So I actually skied down a mountain in the middle of the summer. Weird things that happen in Colorado, but it is what it is. Cool. Also, for all of you who are tuning in live here, it's great to have you. If you haven't seen any of this before, we've got a little bit of a delay. I believe it's about a 20-second delay between the chat, you typing, me seeing, and then me being able to respond. So I promise I'm not ignoring you. I am just having to deal with the limitations of technology. So I've got this burnt red all set up. You work at a school called Chatham House. I'm looking up now. I am not sure of the name of the school where James worked. James, if you are if you're watching the stream right now, go ahead and chime on in. Otherwise, I guess we'll have to ask you later. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put this down on the ground right now. Yeah, RJ, I know we are missing having you at the table as well. For those of you who might not know, RJ Connolly is one of the team members here at the Adventurers Pack. You may recognize him from the Dragon Marked House video of Eberron. He did a fantastic bit on that. So yeah, we miss you a lot, RJ. Looking forward to this whole quarantine ending and getting back to painting together. Oh, no kidding, Harold. Well, I am sure that James would be happy to see you here. We, for the most part, are he's going to be doing the bestiary videos that we are posting every Saturday. So this last Saturday, our first quarantine bestiary video went up, and from there on, we are figuring out how to do more of those with him, with where he is. So he is definitely very involved in the Adventurers Pack here. And it's so great to hear that a friend is being able to see it. So hi, Harold, welcome to the pack. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and leave this down right now. I have been like a fool. I decided to start this miniature Monday live thing right at about the time that I should be eating, and been foregoing that in order to set up everything here and make sure that the setup is ready to go. So I just scarfed down a bit of food, but a little bit of shakiness is still in my hands. So to help with that, I'm just going to keep the mini on the table so that I can have a steady place to paint it. Luckily for us, this large roof is, we don't need to worry too much about details right now. It's just a large canvas that we can really just lay down a bunch of paint. James is your brother's cousin. My goodness. Well, again, fantastic to hear that we've got some people who know the pack members here. Just got cleared by the doctor, feeling much better. Whew. That is fantastic, Brad. I know we are all very, very happy to hear that. Actually, I had been trying to figure out a way to message you on YouTube. Looks like they took that feature away. But if Brad, if you want to go ahead, head over to our Facebook page and send us a DM. I know a few of us here wanted to send our own thoughts and feelings your way, and maybe put a little something together for you. So Brad, if you could get in touch, my words are leaving me. If you could get in touch with us in a less public area, we would like to chat with you really quick. So as this is going down, I'm actually gonna clean off my brush and water down this paint a little bit. It's going on a little thick, but Also, as it's going down, really enjoying the color that this is giving. Yeah, there we go. Really happy with this red. I think that this is giving it a nice tone that we're going to be able to work with. Um, Definitely going to give us lots of room to work with shadows and highlights. So this is fantastic. It's actually, I'm realizing, looking a lot like um, looking a lot like the images of the already painted model. So I know this kit was released as far as part of the Wizards of the Coast camp set. So it came with a bunch of bedrolls, a couple of horses, this cart, as well as just a bunch of other really utilitarian minis. And I think at one point it came out pre-painted. I know that with blind boxes, WizKids had been releasing case incentives. This might have been one of those. All right, so now I'm starting to get to this detail along the edge here where there's some wood, so I'm having to take my time. And the pre-painted one actually had a red roof very similar to this color, so I wonder if we hit on something similar to what they used. Oh my goodness, teacher. Oh, well, fantastic, Harold. I didn't. So James was a teacher, painting a very old school train, and it's looking gnarly. That is awesome. Ollie, please send us a picture of it. We'd love to see it. You can either put that picture up on, if you have it on Instagram, you can tag us in it. Otherwise, you can head over to our Facebook page and send us a message with that in. Yeah, I know during this time, and whether you are quarantined where you are or not, we here are just looking for ways to interact more with everyone in a more community setting, and getting to see the stuff that you guys are painting is one of the things that we would love to do as well. You may be hearing some loud beeping sounds. So it looks like it is time for the recycling to come around. All right, so we're getting to where I need to get a little more detail in, so it's time to pick this back up. You can see I'm holding off on painting this top end here, just because that's where my thumb is going to be. So we're probably going to get the majority of this roof done and leave this grip place for myself until later. If any of you have painted this one, Brad, I think you had painted this. Let me know what your grip technique on this was, because I know traditionally painting minis, you want to cork them, you want to put them on something that lets you hold on to it without actually touching the mini itself, so you don't get the natural oils from your hand all over it. And with larger minis like dragons and things like that, I know I will switch from a cork to more of a medicine bottle with a larger base on it. But with something like this, with all of these details here on the bottom, it is so very hard to find a place to attach it. My goodness, it's getting noisy out there. So it's all about finding just creative solutions to problems. And right now, the problem of how to hold this, my creative solution was just hold it. Oh, this is lovely to see so many people in the chat. Thank you all for joining me today. This is, bringing the spirits up in this time of not being able to go anywhere. So now that we had known the color of the roof, I was able to get a lot of other ideas as to what to paint the rest of this. In particular, getting to the windows and the curtains in the windows. And I'm really thinking that, let's see here. Oh, dude, where's the fire? All right. I'm thinking that with these curtains, originally I was thinking the curtains to be red if we were going to go for a green roof. But now that we're going with the red roof, I'm thinking that some royal purple curtains might be kind of nice. It'll be the sort of thing that can give the hint that whoever is in here might have some nobility to them, or maybe have a little bit of money. And the windows themselves, I think we're going to go with a nice blue to kind of play with the idea of just reflective glass. Ooh. Oh, and having to remember to breathe. I am gripping down on this thing really tightly, and that is not helping my shaky hands. Whew, there we go. On painting the spokes, I I had thought about that, um, and I think there's two schools of thought in my mind on this. The first being that I th- I think the spokes on this would be wood. I don't think we'd be looking at metal spokes. Um, and going back to that idea of all of the metal being of the same color, because this would have been built, um, by in by one craftsman, taking their time. I imagine that the wood of the spokes would still be the same wood of the rest of it, the wheels, the siding. So I think I'm gonna leave the spokes as they are. Ooh, now we're starting to get to that. I used to have this great large place to hold without color, and now this is gonna start to get trickier and trickier. So I think we could paint the spokes, but don't. I don't see that much of a point. Because yeah, it would add some new detail, but it might also start to get a little busy there. Another thought that I had, you might see here. Let me get something that doesn't have paint on it. You might see here these little. Wow, that is a horrible tip. Where the spokes meet the wheel, there are all of these little ridges, and those I think would be metal. That is also a detail that we could go in and do each and every one of those. Um, Now, were I painting this to be entered into a competition, I would 100% go in and paint each and every one of those couplings. I would then also probably do the rim of the wheels in a different color, to highlight that they're being made out of a different wood because they've probably been replaced at some point. But for a table, for something that is going to be placed as scenery for a D&D game, I don't think we need to do those. It might be a little bit more of a headache than the end result is worth. And this is where it does get into that idea of having to think why you're painting this. And I'm painting this for about 3 reasons, I'll say. The first is that I had it, and I just wanted to get it painted and get it off of my, my shelf of shame of having not painted it. But then also, I'm painting it to have as an option to put down on the battlefield for my players. I traditionally only use minis in combat. I don't really use them to set a scene. The rest of that I do for theater of the mind. So this is likely only going to come out maybe once every few months, maybe once a year. The So I'm painting it for the table, but it won't happen often, and I'm painting it to get it done. I'm also painting it to relax. I find painting to be very therapeutic. Um, though my quick speaking and my shaking hands um, might not tell that story or convey that message. I 100% use painting as a form of relaxation. Um, Actually, when we first started Miniature Monday, I found that to be kind of stressful, and I lost that relaxation. I lost that feeling of relaxation, and I had to find it again. And doing these live again, which is actually how Miniature Monday started, has helped with that a lot. Because with the pre-recorded ones, there's that sense of making something perfect, and I am such a perfectionist at heart. But now with this live one, it's okay if mistakes are made for me, and I've used that to improve my painting skills in general. Quality paint. Oh well, thank you. What is that? Dilzo. Thank you, Dilzo. Um, I've been painting actually only for about a year now, and that's been on and off. I first I did paint way back in the day when I played Warhammer back in, gosh, that must have been late middle school, early high school for me. And I don't even want to do the math on how long that's been. Um, but I did some painting there and then didn't paint again for years. And it wasn't until I got more into the miniatures of this hobby, which was more so about a year ago, that I really got more and more into painting, started taking it more seriously, and attempted to hone my skills more. Um, so it has been an on and off process, but I try and paint at least once a week. So I'm not that high quality of a painter where I'm painting daily and able to improve that much. Um, Now, I should say I try and paint once a week outside of Miniature Monday and these recorded and live sessions that you are seeing. Oh, okay, new tricky area coming up. Oh, and that's not going to work. So it's this underside here. Let me put down my brush. A D&D collaboration. You know what? I could 100% be down for that, James. We are definitely huge fans of D&D here at the Adventurers Pack. If you didn't know, and yeah, would love to chat. Hit us up. Yeah, you can. If anyone has any questions on anything like that, you can hit us up on Facebook. You can comment in the video. Really, any channel. We try and keep up with most of our channels. We're not great at Twitter. We're trying to learn Twitter and get better. So yeah. So really quick, actually, before I return to the comments, you can see here, let me get this up. This little ridge is going to be very tricky. I might have to stop talking while I do that one. Will James Truman be streaming on his account? I don't know if James is going to be streaming anything on his account. Again, I cannot speak for James. I know that James is a key member of the Adventurers Pack here, and so we are constantly working with him to make more stuff. I will also say that at the moment, I believe James is in, how many is it now, James? 4, 5 different campaigns. So James is a player in one of the campaigns I'm running. I'm a player in a campaign that he is running. He is running another campaign outside of that. We are just now starting another campaign here because of the quarantine. A lot of our stuff has gone on hold, and we're trying to get a way for people to see, I told you, as soon as I start painting that ridge, I'm going to stop talking. We're going to take a quick break here. We're starting up a shorter one-shot that we're trying to help keep everyone have their sanity. So James is involved in a lot of stuff, but I think I think a video would be great. Tell James I miss Heavy Metal Monday. Oh, I am sure that James misses it so much as well. He is a great metalhead, and yeah, if you're missing a Metal Monday with him, I know he's missing it too. Um, oh yeah, look at all you guys missing Metal Mondays. Do you know Gethin Cullen, legendary Warhammer player, compete in some high level tournament? Wow. I do not know this person. I will say my knowledge on Warhammer is very uh slim. I played for a little bit, and then realized that young me had very little money to spend on these very expensive minis, so I kind of stopped. But I still have my Necron army. I was a Necron player. I really liked their aesthetic, and I loved that idea of these things coming back after being killed. These days, the only real knowledge I have on Warhammer is I'm a big fan of the Astartes films on YouTube. These are some amazing animated short films made by, I believe it's just one guy. So the films would come out about once every 6 months. Um, Here, this last month, the finale of what was being made came out, and it is epic. If any of you have not seen Astartes, just Google or YouTube search Astartes. You're gonna see some really cool stuff. All right, I'm gonna shut up for a second because I need to get this ridge here as well. So deep breath, and as I say deep breath, I mean actually keeping breathing. Here we go. Ah, there we go. There is This is tough. This is tricky. There's a lot in the underside there that I think is going to be a crime that we can hide. Washes are going to get in there. Those ridges are going to get really dark. Um, so we can let that be for now. As long as I'm in this super detailed oriented mode, we're going to get the edges leading right up to the wood here. How far? Ooh, that is a toughie. All right, I am seeing more and more areas that are just going to be tough. So to get this area behind the lantern here, I think what I'm gonna have to do is load up my brush. I'm not gonna be painting with the tip of the brush. I'm actually gonna be painting with the meat of the brush. So I'm gonna get that in there and just press it and move past. Nope. I think a smaller brush is gonna be needed to do that. Well, that was a good try. As a good try, and now I have a lot of cleanup to do. But that's okay. We live and we learn. And I should also remember I have different brushes specifically to this. Oh, gotcha. Well, I'm glad to hear, Brad, that I am I'm doing the meta for painting this. These, yeah, no, these are a lot of fun. Were you able to get just the cart, or did you have to buy the full kit with everything multiple times? Ah, here we go. Here's the brush I'm looking for. All right. I do like to try and get all of my work done with a single brush, but sometimes when it's just very tight corners like that, you need special brushes for the occasion. And even with that, there is going to be cleanup. But that went well. Yeah, this cart, it definitely spent a lot of time on my my stack of minis to paint. I think because I was intimidated by it, and I don't have any shame in saying that. It was I got it really early on because I actually didn't get the pack because of the cart. I got the pack because of a lot of the other things that came in. And this was one of those that I went, oh, I'll get to that one day. So I'm actually really happy that that day came. Whew, there we go. There's that side. Let's get this detail work right here. And I am resting my fingers up on some area that I have already painted. And at this point, I'm using that purely to stabilize. I'm doing that in an area that is going to be easier to repaint. I know my hand is going to brush some of that paint off, but that is okay. All right, that's looking pretty good. Here into this detail. There we go. Cool. All right. So we've got most of this done. Now we get to move into the underside of the back here. It's funny, every time I start shaking, I just remind myself to breathe and that the shakes go away. But I have seen some impressive painters who have incredibly shaky hands, but somehow the second they sit down to their mini and really just focus in, like they are able to get intense detail work. So I know that painting can be daunting for people with any tremors, like apparently I have a small one. I just know it is doable. All right. All right, there we go. Touch up the edges there. Now that is starting to look like a pretty darn good cart. Oh yeah, I can already see where washes on this roof are going to make this beautiful. This is going to be lovely. So, there we go. Some more detail work there. Okay. Oh, wow. Wow. All right. Deep breaths. Deep breathing. Why am I getting so tremory? That paint is starting to get a little thick. Always remembering to keep the paint nice and thinned. We don't want to glob up any of these lovely details on the roof here. These rivets are looking prime for highlighting, and we really don't want to get it looking like a sloppy mess up there. Also, when we water down our paint, areas with crevices the paint will actually then flow into it and help us paint that. So actually, what I'm going to do, I know I said I wasn't going to worry about these edges here, but I'm going to try something. I might regret this. I might regret it, but you know what? I'm going to try it. I'm going to take a little bit of this paint. Now, just so y'all know, this red is Burnt Red by Vallejo. Really liking this color. So I'm really going to water down the paint on the tip of my brush and just lightly go over this edge and let that paint fall off the edge into the crevice. You need even more water there. So this paint is getting fairly liquidy. Now, is it going to go in and cover everything? No, but it's going to cover the edges that are most visible as it runs down. There we go. There it is. Remembering to load up my brush again and again just to make sure that I want excess loose paint right here. There we go. Now, did that make some things that I'm going to have to cover up? Yes. But it also worked beautifully. All right, I think for now we're going to let that dry. Again, this top roof part here, I am holding off on painting that until I get everything else done. So should I maybe waited to paint the roof? Yeah. But did I really want to paint the roof because I was excited as to how it was going to look? Yes. So this is where we are. While we have the roof drying, I think this will be a perfect time for us to get into the windows. Now I've got a few options for the windows. And I'm thinking we're going to go with this spectral glow. This is a nice bright blue, which I think will give a really nice look to the idea of there being some tint to the window and maybe a light source coming from within. And again, we want to start brighter than we think because washes are going to go in there and that's going to darken down the windows. I'm not sure how this is going to turn out, so let's see. Ooh, that was a good one. You can see, even just by picking it up there, I brushed off a bit of the paint on the corners. So this is exactly why we want to touch the areas with paint as little as possible. We can always come in to clean those up though. And typically the areas that are getting brushed off like that are easy to access because they're getting brushed. So they're getting physically brushed by our hands. So they'll be easy to clean up. Let's get this brush out of the way. All right. These are, not gonna lie, one of the details I've been dreading. Let's get to it. That is not half bad. I'm doing the same trick where I'm getting this paint a little more watery and then loading up the brush because I want the paint to seep off of the brush the moment that it touches. Um, yeah, to find a burnt or damaged carriage. That would be really cool actually, because then we've got the option of you could find um, a cart that has maybe oh shoot you could find a cart that maybe has come across some unfortunate times. I don't know of any current available minis for a damaged cart. However, I believe I have access to a file of one. So a 3D printed version might exist. We'll have to look into that. If any of you out there know of a good place to get a damaged cart, something that maybe some bandits have come across and destroyed. And actually, and I shouldn't say a damaged cart, like a damaged carriage, because carts are they're aplenty. We can find carts anywhere, but specifically a carriage, something that people would be living in. Not living in. It's not a tiny home. No, something that people would be traveling in. All right. Ooh, that was not a good one. That was not a good drop in on the window. I'm liking this blue. I'm liking what this is doing. It seems a little bright right now. But again, we have washes ahead of us, so it's okay. I'm noticing that the paint is, since it's watered down, it is trying very much to stick more to the sides of the windows as opposed to the center. Which I'm actually kind of okay with because the center of the window is going to be more visible. This is the one right here that I always knew was going to be tough. This little guy in this corner. Here we go. Okay. Okay. Is that going to need to be cleaned up? Yes. But did that work? Yes. And then you get this last window over here. So you bought 2 full kits of it, huh? Well, it sounds as though you are set as far as camps go. There we go. There is our first set of windows. Obviously, there's a good amount of cleanup to do, but that's okay. It's not supposed to be perfect the first time we do it. So let's bring this around to the more awkward side to hold because of the front end of the cart here. Now, Brad, are you a purely a painter, or do you run games yourself? Are you using the minis that you paint, or do you, or are you purely a mini painter? I'd be interested to know. Ooh, oh, no. Whoops. That's okay. Wow. These are actually going a lot faster than I was anticipating, which I'm okay with. Oh, come on here. Hold on. There we go. All right, gonna need a little bit more paint for this one. Making sure to shake up the bottle, get all that pigment nice and agitated. I really should get some of the beads to put in these bottles help mix it up. Again, I had this list of all these things I wanted to get, and specifically to do a live show like this. But then this happened, and suddenly most of the shops that I go to are, you know, they're considered non-essentials, which makes sense. And I just had to put off getting things like that. Yeah, and I know technically I could, order off of Amazon, but I am trying to hold off on any non-essential orders and let Amazon be used right now for what is really needed. So I can work with what I have. Okay, that's two sides done. Let's get the back windows. There we go. Moving up. And there we are. Cool. Now the one's hidden by the chair behind the chains. So these chains are interesting. There's this sign on the back, and we get to ask ourselves, what does the sign say? Why is it locked up like that? There we go. Now for the ones on the front. Yeah, so yes, this on the back of the wagon, it's a couple of crossed chains and a padlock and a sign. Sign currently has nothing written on it, so it's a little up to us if we want to add writing on the back. Do we want a traditional "do not enter"? Do we want something maybe written in an unknown language? We could write something in glyphs. It could be a glyph of warding on the back there. We could have something written in dwarf, elvish. Really, we can have it be whatever we want. Gone fishing. Okay. Oh, man, my lighting is not great for this corner here. Let me see. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, that's gonna need so much cleanup. So much cleanup. That's okay. All right. And this little one here in the middle. There. And, lest we forget, the windows here up on the top. Oh boy, here we go. This is one of those, again, one of those areas that I can choose to be a little sloppier, because being sloppy is going to let me get into those really tight to reach places that I can then clean up the easier sections later. There we go. All right. One last side. Whoa! Man, I'm just getting my hand all over this. It's okay. I think of all of the things that I say the most as I paint is it's okay. It's okay. I have a few painters at my table. So when we aren't stuck under quarantine, one of the things that we like to do here for fun at the Adventures Pack is just get together and have a painting day with everyone. We actually we do call it our painting party. And oh wow, that is a lot that's coming off. I definitely have a couple of people at the painting party table that you know, they enjoy painting, but there's a lot more cursing involved with them than there is with me. Oh, I do miss those days, guys. I am very much looking forward to being able to get the whole pack together again. Someone was actually asking me this the other day of who all is in the Adventures Pack. And, you know, it's kind of a complicated question there because we've got people, you know, behind the scenes as well as in front of the camera. So I'm actually gonna have to sit down and do a number and think, oh, who is everyone that would, because we've had guests as well who've just kind of showed up, but one of the things that we were considering doing during this time was actually releasing a few videos on YouTube of just, you know, actually who is the Adventures Pack, and have each video be recorded by a different pack member. Just give you an introduction of who they are, what they do, so that you could all get to know them and get to know us more. So that may be coming here down the pipeline soon. I think that's all the windows. Oh, that's so much cleanup. But as much cleanup as there is, I think this is looking really good. What do you guys think? Yeah. Oh, that is fine. Ooh, fine and dandy. I'm not gonna break anything here. Slice up an STL model or take one of these and bust it up. I was actually when the thought of making a damaged one, Brad. My first thought was, well, just take this and like hack at it a couple times, see what happens. Not sure, what the inside would look like if we wanted to carve out and let there be able to see the inside. I mean, depending on how much damage would actually be done. Um, but yeah, also seeing what 3D printable carts there are out there. And like you said, slice up the STL file, maybe do some damage to it there. But also, maybe print one and then cut away at it. Use a little bit of green stuff to mold some damage onto it. What I'm really loving right now is actually all of the technology that we have available to us as creators that really makes. I mean, we have so many options to make cool things like this. I know I'm a big fan of 3D printing. I've been running an Ender 3 for about a year and a half now. Next December will be 2 years. And I mean, the stuff that we've been able to make with that is great. I'm looking into getting a resin printer because the quality of the details you can get on that is so much greater. A friend of the Adventurers Pack actually has a glow forge, and we've been working on coming up with some cool stuff with that. There's never really been, in my opinion, a better time to be a maker, whether you are doing it for a profession or you are a hobbyist. There's a lot of great tools at our disposal, and with everything else set aside, it really is a great time. So yeah, here we are. The cart is looking fantastic. Obviously, there's a good chunk of cleanup work to be done. So what I will do is between now and the next time, so between now and next Monday, I will go ahead and do some of that cleanup work, and just make sure everything is there and ready to go. Next Monday, we have the curtains on the windows, the lanterns themselves, the top of the roof, obviously, the underside of the carriage, and this back section here with the chain, the sign, and the padlock. We will ideally get all of that done. And be able to get to washes next time. I really hope that we can get to shading. I think we can knock out all of those details in an hour, especially if I get the cleanup work done beforehand. Knock those details out and get just my favorite step of the process on here. So yeah, if y'all have any ideas of what you would like for the sign to say, throw it in the comments. What we've got a vote for Gone Fishing. Do you want something in runes? Do you want something cheeky? Do you want something scary? Let us know in the comments. We've got a week to figure it out. I just also want to take a second and say thank you all. This has been a lot of fun having so many people being so interactive. I find the more interactive the chat is, just the more energy it brings to me, the more fun I have. I mean, obviously, I love doing this, but it's so great to get a chance to interact with you all. It was great seeing a few familiar faces. It was lovely meeting some new ones. We will say hi to James for y'all. And I guess until next week, thank you all for joining. I'm Scott, and I will see you at the next Miniature Monday. And now for that awkward time where we transition into the outro screen. Bye.